Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the review for the brand new Duran Duran Future Past 15th studio album. It just came out on October 22nd. It's been 6 long years since we've gotten new Duran Duran, and this thing here is finding the band continuing their legacy nicely, and we're going to jump into all that in just a moment. But before we do, if you are new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this, with taking a look at the brand new Duran Duran Future Past 15th studio album. And so I want to jump back here and give you guys a bit of context and sort of set the scene for this album here, at least. The band formed in 1978 and were part of the new romantic and new wave scenes, and released their first album in 1981. It was a self-titled release, and it was the same time that MTV was hitting the airwaves, the 24-hour music channel at the time. They don't really play music videos any longer, but at that time that was a big deal. It was a great way to get exposure. And Duran Duran, who was always one to focus on aesthetics, mixing both fashion and art into their music and everything, would shoot their early videos on 35mm film, which gave them a much more polished appearance than was standard for the time. And often they collaborated with film directors too, which created some very memorable early music videos that really helped propel them to superstardom at the beginning of this video age. And they took full advantage of this too in 1982 with their second album, Rio, which featured the big hits Hungry Like the Wolf and of course the title track, Rio, and those memorable videos that went along with them, still being played today and out there. But the band continued this success all the way through the 80s, right into the 90s. They did begin to wane a bit towards the end of the 80s and 90s itself. However, by 1993, with the release of their self-titled album, also known as the Wedding Album, they enjoyed a resurgence in popularity with hits like Ordinary World and Come Undone, and this would become a recurring theme for the band, you know, never being too far away from the spotlight, always finding a way back to the top, and somehow always staying relevant as well. And in all, the band has released 15 studio albums and managed to sell over 100 million copies worldwide, which is certainly no small feat, bringing us to the brand new album, Future Past, that we're going to talk about here. As I said, 15th studio album and first one in 6 years. And so they've got a whole host of musical guests and producers on this thing, including Mark Ronson in production, Tove Lo on vocals, Mike Garson on piano, who's played with David Bowie, Smashing Pumpkins, Nine Inch Nails, just to name a few. But then they've also got Graham Coxon on guitar, and he comes from Blur. He's playing on the whole album. I think he adds a real nice, lively effect throughout the album here. And so Duran Duran's bassist, John Taylor, describes the album as very emotional and deep, saying that many of the lyrics are about emotional crises and long-term intimacy issues. And so despite the album itself actually being written pre-pandemic, the lyrical content is still very relevant today, such as case with first single, Invisible, which was released 5 months before the album itself came out. Kind of interesting they chose to start promoting it so early, but they did. Perhaps the album being delayed too due to the pandemic and whatnot. But while the lyrical content is still very much of the moment, the musical aspect of the song is a nice throwback to the 80s, both with its synths and backbeat and stuff like that on it. And so the album's title, Future Past, I think is a very fitting one in this way. And while there are plenty modern elements throughout this thing, it's also a nice throwback to their past, creating a nice bridge both past and future with the way that this album is sounding. And so there's some other really great standout tracks on this I want to mention, like track 2, All of You. This one here has a similar melodic feel to a lot of their hits, but it's also got a nice funky beat to it, making it all that much more catchy. And then track 7, Beautiful Lies. This one here's got a nice synth throwback to the 1980s. I think easily could have appeared on their 1982 album Rio. Pure electro pop explosion on this one here. Check it out. I think you'll be impressed. And then track number 8, Tonight United. This one here really embraces their legacy in full fashion, grabbing onto that new wave bounce thing from the 80s and recalling classic song Planet Earth, in my opinion, with this one. So let's take a look at this. This is the front cover of it. This one here also being the Super Deluxe, or Deluxe Edition, I should say. It's got 3 bonus tracks on it, and these are not throwaway songs. And I also like that they are interspersed throughout, so they're not just tacked onto the bottom of this. Track 6, Velvet Newton. Track 11, Laughing Boy. I think that one's also a standout track. You should check it out. If you've only got the standard version, do check this one out because it's really good. And track 14, Invocation. And so this one's a hardcover book, the way that it's done. The front cover is pretty cool. It's got art by Yakuda, who is a Japanese photographer, and I think it really captures the essence of this cover here. Title being Future Past, so we've got a figure still and a figure in motion. So one in the future, one in the past kind of a thing. I think they did a really great job carrying that theme all the way through from its title itself into the music, the style, the legacy. These are additional photos by the artist himself. We've also got some, if I can get to them here, pictures of band members that we will get to. There we go, band members. So as I mentioned, I mean, you can definitely see within this the whole mixture of the art and fashion and that sort of stuff, graphics in terms of the art and everything of that nature. In the back here, we've got the CD in a sleeve, nicely done there. And then the backside there with all 15 of the tracks that are on it there. So, in all, bottom line on this thing here, I just think it's a really good, strong album, solid all the way through, even with the 15 tracks on the deluxe edition here. There's no filler in my opinion on this, and the album has enough classic elements, I think, to make the old fans happy, but also enough modern elements to make the newer fans happy. It's just a really great way. It's a best of both worlds, and it bridges nicely both that future and past, bringing it together all under one umbrella here. So I think do yourself a favor, do check this out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, especially if you're a Duran Duran fan and or you like the dance beats and things that they create. All right, everyone, hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Hope everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye, everyone.